Cuba, it's me! Episode 50 of The Willow Show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. That's right, 50 days in a row. I am very proud of myself. I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who has supported, everybody who's watched, everybody who sent me messages, the people that go on Facebook and click like. I really appreciate that because it gets more eyes on it. And I really am just doing this for myself. I feel it's helped me a lot. I'm actually very shy. I'm confident when I'm wrestling, but talking not so much. So this is really good practice for me, and I always wanted to do this. If I ever die, I just want my story to be out there for my cameraman so that he can go back and watch it. And I enjoy doing this and reminiscing on the past. So also, thanks to Christy Carvello, Zach, who has helped me a lot. Eddie Osborne sharing my posts a lot, Joey Allen clicking like. It really means a lot. I got a lot of people that watch it, but nobody really clicks like or anything like that. And the people that have subscribed, I really appreciate it. And I'm just gonna keep doing it whether people watch or not. 365 days in a row is my goal, and 315 more days, and I'll be there. So for the 50th show, I thought I did my 10 best matches. Well, you know what? Everybody has a bad day. Everyone has bad matches, and you know what? You just gotta keep going. You're never gonna get better. You can't just quit. I would tell the cameraman, never quit. Everyone's gonna have bad days. So for this episode, I'm gonna do my top 10 worst matches I've ever had in wrestling. And it's not really in any particular order, so let's get this done. One time I went to do a show in New York State. I can't remember the town. I just remember Eddie Osborne was on it, Quan Chang was on it, and then the rest. I think Jesse Jones and the Fox were on it too, and me. And so we went down there, and the rest of the guys were these American guys. And I wrestled some guy in the first match, and he was a big guy, and his outfit was a Boston Bruins jersey. Now, I was intimidated. I was like, I better not mess up out there. You know, this guy, he could really beat the heck out of me if he wanted. So we went out there and started the match, and about a minute in, I realized, oh man, I wish this was over. This is the worst match I've ever had in my life up until this point. And I had only been wrestling like 2 years at this point, but I was like, I need to take over here. I need to do something because this match. So I just started being in control because it was going down the tube, and it had to end as soon as possible. So like I just didn't kick out. I was like, I don't care. You always want to win, but at this point, I just felt my biggest win was getting the match over with. So I don't remember the guy's name. I just remember he wore a Boston Bruins jersey. My next worst match was against Buck 10 in Brantford. I talked about this one other time before. And basically, me and Buck 10 had practiced together, and we'd done some really good practice matches. So I was really looking forward to this match. And basically, we did a couple arm drags, a couple drop kicks. I hit him with a Russian leg sweep, and I got the pin 1, 2, 3. I was surprised. The fans were surprised, and it could have been a lot better than that. The next one was me, Jesse Jones, and Eddie Osborne and the Fox. We went down to Cayuga Lake, New York. Now, there was this guy, I think his name was like the Renegade or something like that, or he was basically like an Ultimate Warrior knockoff. And he said that he was having a TV taping, and we were honored to be a part of it. So we got there, and we found out me and Jesse Jones were going to be a tag team. We were going to be in like this tag team tournament elimination thing where like two teams would start. Whoever won, the next team would come in, and after all the teams that competed, whoever was the last man standing would win the belts. So me and Jesse Jones were like the third team in it, and we came in, and the talent wasn't that exceptional, the guys that we were wrestling, and we won one match, and then we lost the second match, and Jesse Jones and I did everything we could in our power to try and have a great match, and it just, both of them were not that great, but you know what, that was our first time ever being on a TV taping, so we felt honored. I never know if it actually made TV. I kind of hope not, but I've never saw it anywhere. My next match was be against Eddie Osborne and Tilsonburg for PWX. I believe it was PWX. I know some other promotions ran there, and we wrestled each other like hundreds of times. We wrestled each other in Tilsonburg like 4 or 5 times. But this one particular match, I just was having an off day. I went to do like a plancher off the second ropes. I slipped. I went to do some other move where I flipped onto my feet and I slipped. My pants ended up falling down and I wrestled the rest of the match holding my pants up. It was not a good performance on my part, and that was probably the worst time I ever wrestled Eddie Osborne, that was for sure. My next one was against Juan Ortiz. Now, Juan Ortiz was one of my trainers that he taught me a lot of like amateur wrestling and submission moves. So I always wanted to earn his respect, and we had never wrestled before. And that night, just nothing seemed to go right. The crowd, I don't even know, like when the crowd was there, definitely wasn't paying attention to them. I was very sloppy in this match and I was very disappointed with myself after. But fortunately enough, I got a chance to wrestle him a couple times after and to redeem myself, but that particular one was not very good. The next one would be against Reggie Marley. Now, I've wrestled him like almost 10 times, but the first time I ever wrestled him, it was on a Chuck the Butcher Sims show in Welland. And they wanted Reggie was the guy that everyone was going to cheer for, and they wanted me to be the bad guy. Now, I'd never done that before. I wasn't very good at it. I had no charisma. I was way smaller than Reggie. The match only ended up going 5 minutes. Reggie did everything in his part to make it a decent match. I, however, learned a lot of lessons that day about how to properly be the guy in the match that the fans don't want to root for. So even though it was not what I expected it to be, I did definitely learn from that experience. And I've wrestled Reggie so many other times. They've all been great other than that one. But I'm just glad that he wasn't too hard on me the next times we wrestled because, yeah, my performance was not that good on that night. The next one would be versus Pantalone in Niagara Falls. Now, everyone was so excited for the show. Hacksaw Jim Duggan was on the show. But then, unfortunately, we only got like 20 fans. And me and Pantalone were the opening contest. Now, Pantalone had some other things going on that day with him that he was dealing with, so I don't know if he was 100% with his head was in it. And I was just off too, so like we tried. It wasn't a horrible match, but what it could have been, compared to what it could have been so much better. And I always wish I could have got the chance to wrestle him again, and we could have tore the roof off the place. The next time, the next match that it was one of my worst matches was versus Tommy Mandrake for OSPW. It was in Buffalo or Lockport, New York. I don't know. We did a bunch of shows there. Not to be confused with Mark Mandrake, who is a fabulous worker. Now, Tommy Mandrake had not been working that long at this point, and so he was fairly new. And I'd only been wrestling 2 or 3 years, and we did end up having some really good matches. We had like a 3-way with me and him and Mike Stevens, and we had this other one for the TV title that I still have on tape that was really good. But the first particular one, we just didn't mesh very well. We, let's just say our paths were crossed, and I was happy that we got to make up for it later, but it was definitely a learning experience. And I was not pleased with that performance. My next one was versus Lenny Lilac. Now, PWA does these Canada Day shows every year in Cambridge at the big festival at Riverside Park. Now, basically, I've been looking so forward to wrestling Lenny because I just thought we'd have such a great like dynamic of me being the small happy guy and him being such a bad character guy, and I thought the fans were gonna eat it up. And I had so many great ideas of what I was going to do and everything. So we went out there to wrestle the match, and the referee tells us after one move that they're going to start the fireworks soon. The match needs to end. So basically, I went up top, and I went to do this flipping neckbreaker blockbuster like Buff Bagwell or Seth Rollins does it now. And I slipped, and Lenny was far away, and it kind of looked like kind of a flipping clothesline that I didn't really hit him with, but I still pinned him, and that was the match. I believe it was under a minute, but I was so excited to wrestle Lenny, and then it ended up being that, so it was really disappointing. And then the next match was on the second show I ever wrestled. It was against Sandy Davis, and then for ACW in Cambridge at the Steelworkers Hall. And so after that, they put all the guys that weren't in the main event into a battle royal. Now there was like Lance Malibu, Lars Phoenix, Powder, some Snake Man guy, Don Coyote, a couple other guys I can't really remember. And it was probably one of the worst it's definitely the worst. I hate battle royals and Royal Rumbles to begin with, and this one was horrible. And I was glad when I was eliminated. You want to win, but I just wanted to get out of there because it was just not going well. And I still have this on my tape. I should actually upload it one day just for shits and giggles and whatnot. But it was not very good. I know I've wrestled a lot of other bad matches. I'd like to think that I've wrestled more good matches than bad matches. But you know what? You gotta just embrace it. You can't hide the fact, everyone's had a bad day. Well, maybe not everyone, but most people, especially when they're young and starting out. And I was only like 18 and 19 years old back then. And I just thought I'd tell this. Maybe it will help some young wrestlers, don't want to give up and don't be too hard on yourself. Like, I used to try and be a perfectionist and be so hard on myself if I made one mistake. And then sometimes I had these matches where there was multiple mistakes. And it's like, you know what? You can get better, and I feel I have, and who cares? Like, it's not the end of the world, and you just gotta keep going. Never give up. So this is episode 50 of The Willow Show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. I want to remind you, like, or you get a leg drop. Comment, or you get a clothesline. Subscribe, or you get a suplex. All those things really mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the people who've supported me. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!